The Senate tax chair is one of the most powerful positions in the Senate because the chair decides which proposals will come before the committee for consideration. Regarding significant new spending or tax increases for the 2024 session, Senator Ann Rest, the tax chair, has offered a one-word answer: no. She joins me to talk about that, about artificial intelligence, and more. Thank you so much for being here.
You're absolutely welcome.
Your one-word answer made the news. Granted, a new budget and economic forecast is yet on the horizon, but the November forecast said that the 26-27 biennium could be in fiscal trouble. How concerned are you, and is that why you're lowering expectations on any new spending for this session?
The answer is absolutely yes. We have, in the past, gotten ourselves into trouble with real deficits by not, in my mind, by not paying attention to the signs of uncertainty that that we receive in a budget forecast. The November one, was over $2 billion, but we established, I think, just generally from the governor on down, that we wanted another significant capital investment bill, and that there were other needs, some adjusting of some healthcare formulas, and also providing programs that relieved some of the burden or the overburden of middle-income families for child care, which we have the child tax credit, which is helpful for lower income and lower middle income families, but we need to concentrate on those families with two earners that struggle to meet legitimate child care costs. So lower expectations, absolutely, and new taxes, no.
On the opening day of session, the House took up a bill that would fix an inadvertent error in the 2023 tax law that, if not changed, would increase taxes for a majority of Minnesota filers who take a standard deduction beginning next year. Your committee is also working on that issue. Is this an easy fix?
It is the correct fix. We made two mistakes that had a fiscal impact, money impact on in the tax bill, and we should fix both of them. It's been the tradition when mistakes were made in tax bills and they were discovered, that the tax chairs would write a letter saying, as soon as possible, we will fix those mistakes. And the bill that we had today in committee that we passed to the floor fixes one of them, which is considerable. I mean, it's over between $300 and $400 million. But we did not fix the other's mistake, which was a simple one of getting the year right that a tax was going to be effective. So that's upsetting that one mistake was corrected and supported by the administration, and the other mistake was characterized as spending rather than tax savings.
Do you have plans to fix this other mistake?
Well, Representative Liz Lagarde is taking the lead in the House to introduce a separate bill, so it won't be in the one that is going to the floor in both bodies soon. To have a separate hearing on that, and I'm the chief author in the Senate, and we're going to be working together to see that mistake is also corrected, so that it does not result in an extra $15 million of taxes on our Minnesota businesses. And
it's mostly small businesses that would take
that
hit? Well,
any business that has a net operating loss, which happens, and then they get better, and then they're able to use that portions of that net operating loss going forward to smooth out their income. So They're big businesses, they're small businesses that would be Main Street businesses, as well as big businesses that would be affected by it.
So we'll watch for that. Senate Republican leader Mark Johnson was asked earlier this week whether the Republican caucus would push for a full income tax subtraction on Social Security benefits for Minnesota beneficiaries. He indicated that they would if the state could afford it. The 2023 tax law raised income limits so that an estimated 76% of Minnesotans will not pay taxes on Social Security income. Because of that law change in 2023, is the matter settled for you, or is there room for more?
I think it's again a matter of the timing. We produce tax savings for those people that relied on Social Security, and also pensioners, public pensioners that do not get Social Security. We improve their situation greatly to get to the 76%. But we don't have those kinds of resources to take it a step further right now. Sometime in the future, maybe, but I agree with Senator Johnson. We don't have the resources, and we're going to be adamant, however, about keeping the tax savings that we produced in the 2023 bill for seniors.
And now for a subject I know you're excited to talk about. In the first Senate tax hearing of the 2024 session, you had a discussion on artificial intelligence. We read about it more and more and how this latest technology is impacting both jobs and the economy, potentially. What made you want to start the session with this discussion?
Well, I started becoming interested in artificial intelligence, just like a lot of other people, seeing so many articles in the newspaper or on TV, and the action from the White House on an executive order on it, and then the work that's being done by Minnesota Minute and the Technology Advisory Council that has a subcommittee on artificial intelligence and how it can be used not just to catch the bad guys that we all want to have happen, but how can we maximize and optimize the opportunities for our employees and ourselves to make sure that we can use artificial intelligence, which actually is kind of a misnomer, but nevertheless, artificial intelligence to become more efficient in our work, and legislators need that as much as anybody. Effective and efficacious, meaning that we can get it to work after we understand it and get trained in it. And Minute had produced a document for policy guiding state employees, but now we need to also look at, and we used their testimony and presentation today, both them and the people on the TAC, the Technology Advisory Council, to I think begin exploring how we can bring that to the legislature, to other constitutional officers, maybe even looking at doing it in the judiciary. So I'm very excited to begin that discussion locally and not just nationally, and to improve the work product and the job satisfaction of Minnesota government employees.
Senator Ann Rest, it is always a pleasure. Thank you.